You're watching STV, select for fun.
Very good evening. My name is Elijah Tudiagmanawe, and I'm very excited. Tomorrow is a Wednesday, and that definitely does mean that my weekend is closing in, and of course the festive season, Christmas, is Friday, and everyone is looking towards that D-Day. Well, my name is Elijah once again, and of course you can follow us and this conversation on all our digital platforms. That's at STV Uganda, and my personal handles, my Twitter handle is at Elijah Tudia and Elijah Tudiagmanawe on Facebook. We'll take a look at the headlines, and I'll come back with the details.
In the top stories tonight, bad meets evil. Could Uganda be headed for a second lockdown with a new variant COVID-19 infections ravaging UK, while Ministry of Health reinstates restrictions in sending off COVID-19 victims? And Airbus A330-800 touches base. The pride of the Pearl of Africa, as the son of Captain Etiang delivers distinguished national airline back home. In more news, DP's Mao takes a stand. We shall campaign later, halts his bid for the presidency to eulogize the date and sort party issues. And in the sports world, two-time Massaza champions banned from tournament with immediate effect. That and more in Select News tonight.
Well, thank you very much for sticking with STV, particularly Select News. We shall be moving to a headlining story straight away, and that is the pride of the Pearl of Africa, where we did register yet another aircraft touching base at the Entebbe International Airport, and that is the Uganda Airbus. Well, the Pearl of Africa woke up with yet another outstanding roar in the airline industry when her newly acquired Airbus touched base at the Entebbe International Airport from France. Ugandan pilot Michael Etiang flew Airbus A330-800 NEO and landed at Entebbe Airport by exactly 10:45 a.m. this morning, hitting the runway. We take a look.
Son of Toro District, Captain Michael Etiang was the Ugandan chief pilot in charge of the cockpit flying the Ugandan Airbus A330-800 NEO from France to Entebbe International Airport, which touched base in the Pearl of Africa this morning at 10:45 a.m. alongside a Ugandan crew of 30 led by Minister General Katumba Wamala. STV kept a close monitor of the updates from the 11-hour flight that set off from the southern France Toulouse to Entebbe, Uganda. The newly acquired A330 NEO is the latest version of the most popular wide-body airliner and will be the first Airbus aircraft delivered to Uganda Airlines, an airline re-established in 2019. In an earlier interview, Chief Pilot Captain Mike Etiang revealed that it was an honor flying the national aircraft. Led by Minister General Katumba Wamala, the Minister of Works and Transport, a 30-member crew from Uganda had first-hand experience. This aircraft is an addition to Uganda Airlines fleet, geared at stretching longer distance travels, including Dubai and South Africa. Kara Tumine for Select News.
Well, from that story, the pride of the Pearl of Africa, and of course we still continue to register tremendous achievements even within the pandemic, that our airline industry is registering tremendous success. Well, we do move on to yet another story, but in the political realm, while seeking for the presidential vote, Patrick Boy Moriat, the Forum for Democratic Change party flag bearer, traversed areas of Kabarole and Bunyangabo, where a clash ensued with NRM supporters. Moriat was meant to proceed to Fort Portal after Kabarole, where police denied him access.
Okay, you mobilize people, you tell them to calm down. The DPC is saying you all calm down, we go.
I am telling you. We are here officially.
Community there is no government health unit. You have to go to Kasenda, all the way to Kasenda to receive health care. We will build a health unit in your community. School in this community, because we know you have been impoverished by Museveni. Your children may not be able to go beyond senior 4. So these children should go to the technical school and learn skills that can help them to provide for their families. No problem. No, you go to your tear gas. No, you go to your tear gas. Tear gas. Why are you running away? You go to your tear gas. Speak Uganda that people can understand. Okay, which people are going to talk to? Okay, first tell us what is the role of UPDF in this electoral process? If you are the lead agency, we want you to tell us what role is UPDF playing in this electoral process?
Can't you clear the road? No, you never wanted to clear the road. You never wanted.
Now, where do you want?
You never wanted to clear the road.
We first pull this one. This one is the head.
Thank you very much for sticking to Ace TV. Now we do move on from what's transpiring in the political realm now to matters national security as we do gear closer to the festive season, which after we shall be moving into 2021, and that's the month of January when Uganda is expected to cast the presidential ballot among other elections. Well, the Inspector General of Police, Okoth Ochola, has warned the general public against flouting COVID-19 guidelines ahead of the festive season. Through police mouthpiece Fred Ananga, Ochola said police is more than ready to combat crime during and after the festive season. We have the details of this report. Take a look.
Brings proper hygiene and social distancing. Therefore, all Ugandans are reminded by the IGP to know that regardless of who they are, crime and COVID-19 affects us all. We therefore need to be mindful of COVID-19 by celebrating in very safe and socially distanced ways to help protect our families, friends, and all those who are dear to us. We are also reminded to remain vigilant about criminals who always take advantage of such festivals to victimize members of the public through acts of theft, robbery, housebreaking, fraud, cybercrime, to mention but a few. As you are all aware, this festive season is embedded within an electoral period for the presidential, parliamentary, and local government positions. And despite our policing efforts, the political campaigns were marred with threats and vulnerabilities that included acts of civil disobedience. You remember very well the criminal and political riots and violent protests that took place. We have also witnessed campaigns that have been defiant in one way or another. We've had instances where there have been violent confrontations between the police and also different political campaign groups. Now, during this period, we are going to increase vigilance as far as our crime prevention campaigns are concerned. You are aware the country was zoned into 13 areas where we mapped out crimes in these places, and we are efficiently collecting data on them.
Well, thank you very much for sticking with Ace TV, particularly Select News. I know you're watching us from different places on various platforms. Those of you watching us from social media platforms, we do appreciate that, on our Facebook page where we're streaming live, but also on YouTube. But also those that are joining us on mainstream media, you're watching Select News, and we continue to unpack for you what's happening in the world of current affairs. Well, as we do go for a short break, I'll leave you with just one short quote that I take very seriously, and one virtue of humanity that I do respect, and that is the truth. The truth is everything. We'll go for a short break, and I'll return with more.
You're watching STV, Select for Fun.
COVID-19 and the elections of Uganda 2021. When you look at COVID-19, first of all, election requires, interactions between the candidates and the people that you're seeking votes from. You have to speak to people, you have to sell your ideas that this is my manifesto. When I become president of Uganda, this is what I plan to do. Now, if you are not able to do that, if the rules of engagement says you need to have virtual meetings. Now, Uganda is a young democracy. Now, when you tell people that COVID-19 is real and we need to have a virtual discussion, a virtual campaign, people don't seem to understand the challenges behind all these technologies that we're having today.
Hey guys, you're watching STV, Select for Fun.
Well, I welcome you from that short commercial break. Now, Select News does continue with more details in current affairs and what's happening in the world of news. National Resistance Movement party leaders from the districts of Mpigi, Gomba and Butambala have today requested the president's political position against the opposition, which they claim has turned to be violent. The leaders aired out their plight as they met the National Resistance Movement party flag bearer Yoweri Tibahaburwa Kaguta Museveni this evening in Mpigi district. We have the details of this report.
PG Town was today painted yellow as supporters of the NRM took to the streets to cheer as they eagerly waited for the NRM presidential flag bearer and candidate who was scheduled to meet with the leaders from PG, Gomba and Butambala districts. The drumbeat in PG Town roared as dancers lit up the town. The president arrived in PG late afternoon as he had gone to officiate the arrival of the new national planes to beef up the island and also commission the construction of the Busega PG Express Highway. their address to the president, the leaders from PG called on to the president to help them uproot the opposition that has become deeply entrenched in the region.
Twagala president okutuyambako nti ekitundu kino kifune special attention naddala mu kulwanyisa opposition. Twagala tujjewo nassale bedi opposition ebutambala president. Tukusaba ssebo otukwateko mu ngeri y'enjawulo otusobozese okujjawo nassale bedi nze nkulopera nti Mwanga Kivumbi ye nassale bedi.
The vice chairperson of the NRM in Buganda region called out onto the president to help them with members of the opposition who are intimidating supporters.
Bayuzizza ebifaananyi by'abakandidate bano. Ebifaananyi ebimu bamanyira okwasa endabirwamu basangako ekifaananyi ekya candidate wa NRM. Kati bino mukama wange mbiroopa wa president. Twagala mukama wange nga commander in chief okutuyamba ku bantu abamazeeko bannayuganda emirembe okubatiisatiisa nga bakola okusalawo kwabwe.
In his speech, Museveni responded to the acts of violence against his supporters, urging them to collect evidence.
Matters health at a time like this when public healthcare system is in tatters, where the Ministry of Health has warned against possible flouting of the new guidelines that have been instituted to be followed during the burial of COVID-19 victims, with a new variant mutant COVID-19 infections ravaging the United Kingdom, which has led to a massive travel ban to and from the United Kingdom. The Uganda government remains vigilant to avoid fresh importations of the new infection. We take a look.
The increased number of deaths to COVID-19 and a surge in infection within the national boundaries, mostly within the month of December, registering more than 1,384 cases. The Ministry of Health has come out to reinstate stringent restrictions on handling the corpses of the COVID-19 infections.
Currently, Kampala remains the hotspot, followed by the other emerging hotspot districts like Kabarole, Kasese, Luengo, Kabale, Mbarara, Masaka, and Liatonde. Today, we are reporting on average weekly 3,600 cases, and this emerged from 35 districts in the country.
Minister of Health Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng conveyed her message through the State Minister of Health for Primary Health Care, Morik Kaduchu, with the new guidelines and rules to be followed while burying the COVID-19 corpses.
All bodies shall be appropriately wrapped and put in a shield coffin or a bag in line with the Ministry of Health guideline for handling COVID-19 bodies prior to be released or prior to release the body to the family members. 2. The family members must not at any one point open the coffin or the bag that has been.
The minister warned against use of face shields instead of face masks, adding mourning for the dead and paying last respects have been prohibited.
Face shields leave a lot of uncovered space around these areas, enabling some droplets and aerosols to reach them. Face shields, therefore, give limited protection to the nose and the mouth. Therefore, masks, however, protect individuals by preventing droplets from landing into their lips and nose, the major areas through which the COVID-19 enters the body.
She also noted that Uganda, having inquired about COVID-19 vaccine, 9 million Ugandans will receive a dosage in May of 2021.
As far as COVID-19 vaccine is concerned, Uganda submitted a COVAX application on 7th December this year under the Global Alliance for Vaccine Initiative, Gavi. COVAX facility, where we shall be able to access approximately 9 million doses of the vaccine.
Worldwide, health experts rose an alarm regarding the emerging of the variant COVID-19 infection in the UK, prompting an immediate travel ban by major states globally. Cara Tuina for Select News.
Happening with the numbers in terms of registering new cases. Of course, the new cases that were registered yesterday, the 21st day of December 2020, were usually late by 1 day at 526, and the cumulative confirmed cases in Uganda were at 31,910 as of yesterday, of course with the addition of 526. Now the cumulative total number of deaths succumbing to COVID-19 yesterday stood at that number right there at 238, with zero deaths that were registered yesterday. Now the cumulative recoveries stood at 10,646, that number that you cannot see very clearly down on your screen, and the total COVID-19 samples that the Ministry of Health in Uganda alone had carried out was 717,595, with the new samples taken yesterday that were 4,086 new samples that were taken yesterday by the Ministry of Health. Well, I'll take you through the breakdown of the new cases and their contacts in what districts in Uganda, and what, of course, it has a very huge reflection on who should be more cautious on protecting themselves. And of course, Wakiso 75, Tororo 21, Kalungu 12, Lyantonde 9, Masaka 9, Boyikwe 8, Kabarole 8, Jinja 8, Mbare 6, Bushenyi 6, Busia 8, Chiboga 6, Mukono 5, Mpiji 5, Ntungamo 5, and Kasese registered 5 COVID-19 cases yesterday. And of course, that means those are alert contacts that people in Uganda should pay critical attention to. Even when you're moving there, be very cautious and not to interact with masses, because this could expose you to COVID-19. Here at STV, we continue to encourage you to keep observing the SOPs, wash your hands, wear that mask. As like the Ministry of Health did warn or issue a warning earlier that a mask or a face guard alone might not be enough, but if you wear a face guard, it will be very prudent and very imperative of you and your health that you also wear a mask at the same time as you maintain social distancing. Well, in that direction, on the global spectrum, we did see a suspension of a travel ban by various nations, giants, from and to the UK, and that speaks volumes on where we're headed. Could Uganda be heading to yet another lockdown or not? Well, the Ministry of Health can best answer that, and of course we should be engaging more with the Ministry of Health, particularly the Minister of Health, but also the Minister of Primary Health Care, Dr. Joyce Kaduchu, who just gave a statement there on what criteria will be followed in administering the 9 million COVID-19 vaccines. Well, we shall go for a short break and return with more. Stay with us. Well, the Democratic Party DP has today halted their search for the presidential vote countrywide following the numerous deaths from their camp. The campaign suspension was announced during a press briefing by the party presidential flag bearer, that's Norbert Mao. Mao cautioned Ugandans to remain alert against being fleeced of their vote by unfit candidates with empty promises, he says.
DP's Norbert Mao, based at the party head offices in Kampala, to announce a presidential campaign suspension following the uncertain times, which have presented with them numerous unfortunate incidences, including losing key party characters such as the woman member of parliament to Chotira, Robina Nantongo, among others. Mao and the camp decided to spend the day addressing what he referred to as national issues instead of proceeding with the campaign trail as scheduled by the Electoral Commission. He scoffed to those who have always looked down on DP's critical participation in the Uganda's politics, saying that the party is back on its feet and ready to shock the national political dynamics. DP's Mao was scheduled to campaign in Kalungu and Masaka today and expected in Bukomansimbi and Masaka City tomorrow. Mao used the platform to deliver a Christmas message to his supporters. Hasif Sachunga, Voice TV.
Yes, we do move on to a business segment, a segment where we talk money making. If you're a money maker, of course, everyone needs money for a living. And of course, this is a segment that everyone needs to pay critical attention to as we talk matters affecting money making. Well, business owners in Hoima District have come out to raise an alarm, seeking for a rescuer over the financial crisis they are facing. These are saying even the festive season has not improved the situation, but instead worsened it, a season sought after by most in the business arena. We have the details.
Business owners, including clothes sellers, farmers and many others, have blamed this crisis on the COVID-19 lockdown that was instituted by the government in the bid to mitigate the spread of the coronavirus.
Business zabo zikagwera kimu bakubatonga loan bakataha mu byalo
bitaina kulungi katale ali barabitunda bakaija kugula kulunga engoye challenge yo kusanga customer bakubayizire na endorugwengo bwe mutware ena wakwesanga musaina homu mitwaro nkesa of which night kuba kitatu kora kulungi kuba magoba agakomereza business gakuba gatakia rugayo kulungi.
These are crying fall of looming poverty levels that are increasing, becoming serious, making it difficult to sustain their regular businesses. Farmers say that their businesses have registered tremendous declines since those who used to purchase the produces in the supply chain suffered lockdown ramification, with some still in the clampdown. The effects are rooted to an unavoidable downsurge in the prices of agricultural products. Some business owners closed operations completely and haven't been working since March, cutting cash flow, reduced mobility, hence a logistical challenge affecting the supply chain. This called upon relevant authorities to open up the country, mostly the business sector, in order to restore economic sanity.
So to serve a government etukenderezemu ekintu ekirolemu tukatangira sitego tugigonza bayita bagigoboramu muno bali ba politician bayita omuntu wa hansi talina ekyagoboolamu abapolitisiani n'obagobamu bayitiita abantu ba buli kiro ekyamaani mu nekituyita mu kyalo tukusaba ekintu ekiba kirolemu.
Kemigisa Angela for STV Select News.
What is happening in the world of sports? Well, if it is a sad story written, then Saza side Singo has penned down a number of pages, and it looks like they are still writing more and more. The 2 times Masaza champions have been banned from the tournament for a year with immediate effect. Sad story indeed.
If it is a sad story written, then Saza side Singo has penned down a number of pages, and it looks like they are still writing more and more. The 2 times Masaza champions have been banned from the tournament for a year with immediate effect unless they pay a sum of 15 million Ugandan shillings fine. The following players, such as Ivan Kakumba, Moses Jagwe and Frank Bukenya, have also been expelled from the tournament for 2 years due to indiscipline. According to the first Vice Chairman Mpima Samuel, indiscipline cases from Singo have been on a rise right from the time of preparations, with the team's official Uthman Waswa indefinitely suspended for flouting health guidelines. Mpima went ahead to send a stern warning to the Bulange group, who are yet to enter the bubble, to ensure that they keep sanity within their team. Singo crashed out at the group stages, finishing bottom of Butikiro group with 1 point from the 4 games, conceding 10 goals and scoring once. The 2020 Airtel Masaza tournament takes a short Christmas break and will resume on Monday, December 28, 2020 at Bulange as Bulange Group kicks off. Tini Rukabwe, STV Select Sports News.
Well, more in the world of sports. We continue to bring you updates. A brace from Tammy Abraham after Thiago Silva had stared at both sides of the pitch saw Chelsea return to winning ways with a 3-0 victory over West Ham to move up to the 5th in the Premier League. West Ham had plenty of promising moments, but were unable to fashion a clear cut throughout the entire game. We'll take a look at the details.
A brace from Tammy Abraham after Thiago Silva had starred at both ends of the pitch saw Chelsea return to winning ways with a 3-0 victory over West Ham to move up to 5th in the Premier League. For long periods, it seemed a 10th minute opener for centre-back Thiago Silva would be the difference between the 2 London sides, who were evenly matched for much of this derby at Stamford Bridge. West Ham had plenty of promising moments but were unable to fashion a clear-cut chance and were made to play late on when England international Abraham struck a quick-fire double to pay back the faith of manager Frank Lampard, who recalled him to the starting 11. Lampard was without Reece James due to a knee injury, and his other fullback and birthday boy Ben Chilwell was forced off in the 9th minute with an ankle problem, but another defender provided the perfect tonic to that early substitution with the opener. After the ex-Paris Saint-Germain centre-back had starred at the other end of the pitch earlier in the game, he showed his class in his usual territory in the 33rd minute when he blocked a Thomas Soucek volley with his stomach. It was another encouraging moment for West Ham, but they were reminded of the host's quality 2 minutes before halftime when Christian Pulisic found Timo Werner unmarked inside the area, but he fired tamely at Lucas Fabianski to see his goal drought continue. There was still time for Werner to squander another opportunity, but the Blues are on the victory trail again and by a comprehensive margin ahead of Boxing Day's clash at Arsenal, while West Ham host Brighton next. Tini Rukabwe, STV Select Sports News.
Well, this could be the last time you're seeing me on your screens in this week as we do head to the festive season. So I take this opportunity to wish you a very merry Christmas. Enjoy you and your family, but also continue to take good care of yourself. But I do close this particular bulletin. I take this opportunity to wish a friend in the fraternity a happy birthday. That's Josephine Karonji, a very happy birthday. If I had a very good voice, I would probably sing for you a birthday song, as they say. But I'm not a very good vocalist, but as they do say that blessed are those born in the same month as Christ. It's a happy birthday, and I do hope that you do enjoy it all throughout the evening, it being your birthday. Well, for me and the entire crew, it is a very good evening. Thank you very much for watching Select News, and you can continue with all the conversation on all our digital platforms. So good night, stay safe.